In this episode of the IT Experts podcast, we're going to help you work out how to find your future leaders. Welcome to the IT Experts podcast, the only podcast to help MSPs scale to 1 million, and if already there, get to 5 and go faster. At the end of the day, isn't it all about building a business that works for you rather than you for it? I hope you enjoy the show. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the IT Experts podcast. Once again, I've got you a treat today. Julie Hutchison, our amazing, incredible, wonderful leadership coach, is back in the house this afternoon. Good afternoon, Julie.
Hello. Nice to be here.
How are we doing?
Good. Really
good stuff. Today, we are talking about finding future leaders. Obviously spawned on from some conversations we've been having at the Incredible Growth Hub. And also, this isn't directly, but it's going to sound like an absolute blatant plug. We're going to be talking about a little bit about the Future Leader Program, which is a new program structure that we're using at the Growth Hub. But I want to talk to you about what we're doing and why we're doing it to help you identify the right people in your organization. So that's what we're here today. We've all got great teams. We talk about team building an awful lot. We talk about getting the right people in place and all that sort of thing. But some of the conversations that's popped up, and particularly something that you're heading up right now, Julie, is our Future Leaders Program, which is specifically to help those up and coming leaders. We're going to help you work out how to find the right ones, and maybe you might find some of the wrong ones. But just in case anybody's been living under a rock and they don't know who you are, please, Julie, tell the world, who are you, what do you do, and who do you help?
So Julie Hutchison here, and I'm a team performance and leadership specialist, helping tech leaders to grow their businesses through building their leadership and team performance.
Fantastic. Sounded very official. Very good.
I know,
indeed. One of our clients said at one of our latest events, don't let the diamonds in your business go. And this really struck a chord with you, didn't it? Put some context around what the conversation was taking place and what was this particular MSP owner's point of kind of what he was making.
I think this wonderful chap, actually, he's growing his business and he's a really clear-cut person, and he likes to control his business quite a lot. And I think where it came about from originally was that actually we need to grow people, because we need people to make good decisions in our business. Because although this person, name no names, wonderful, is really good at making decisions, his own decisions, but you can't grow like that. You can't leverage if other people don't make good decisions in your business. And what he was saying is that he may have let a few people go rather than to allow them to grow in the business. You know, what I think that's about is don't let them go, grow them. Because if you don't grow the diamonds in your business, the good people in your business, they're going to leave you. They're going to want to grow. They're going to want to be able to do more, have more, get more, be responsible for more. And he was saying that he missed a trick, really. He let people go because he didn't want them to grow, and not because he's a bad person, but because he was in control of that, and actually needed to mature in his business so that he could see that he needed to allow these people to become leaders within his business. And actually the benefit is that he's going to be able to step back and have people make good decisions so that he can go on holiday, chill out, not have to keep checking his emails every 5 minutes, because other people can take responsibility. And so don't let your diamonds go, whether that be through your ego of not wanting to release control, dare I say, or just not recognizing that these people need more than maybe what you're giving them. And maybe you're not giving them enough credit for what they can achieve because you're comfortable with what they are doing, let's say, rather than achieving. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I'm just going to lean back into the conversation we were just having a minute ago before we hit the record button about thinking time and the length of time it takes to think. Someone said this to me back when I was in my corporate role, and they said, no, you need time to sit there and think. And I looked at this guy and I said, you're just crazy. You just need to just get on with it, get working. Sitting around thinking, you're having a laugh. I can't believe you're talking about thinking. And it was like, and I look back now and I just think this guy was absolutely right. We're talking about the business owner here, relinquishing some of their day-to-day, working in it rather than on it sort of thing, so they can have that time. But how important is it that the senior leaders, the owners, get proper strategic quality thinking time? You know, that because that's a fear, isn't it? That if I go and build a leadership team, what am I going to do? And it's a worry. And if you spend more time thinking and strategically thinking, then the magic really starts to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. What we see a lot as businesses are growing is that the owner feels guilty if they stop and they get off the hamster wheel, because so they're used to doing
Yeah.
the do all the
Yeah.
time. So it feels almost a little bit indulgent to stop and think. But as you say, actually that stopping and thinking is allowing you to regroup. It's allowing you to look at what's good, what's not good, and to hone what you are doing instead of just keep doing more. And we know that we don't change our behavior unless we think differently. So we're just going to keep doing. So we do need to change our behavior, and we do need to allow other people to think in the business as well. Because if we only ask people to do this, we're feeding them. And the phrase teach a man to fish.
Yeah.
If we're not doing that, we're not helping them to think about the business, and that's make good decisions in the business. That's know which direction we're going in, know how they can change things, make things better, or any of those things. If we don't ask them to think like that, then basically we just have to keep feeding them, do this, do this, do this. And so what we're saying is we want people to step up so that they're thinking. You can then step back and do more, as you just described, thinking time, but that's a different kind of thinking, more strategic thinking. But they're coming up and saying, what direction are we going in? How can I help the team to do that? I've got ideas and I can start using those ideas. But if we don't bring those people in, they're just going to be sat there, probably bored, doing what you ask them to do or tell them to do, but not necessarily developing it. And so it's so important that you start recognizing who can do that, who can be somebody who can start to become the next me in the business, who can think like me or think like themselves, but think in the direction of me, that what I want to go in, let's say, so that I can actually trust them to run parts or all of my business so that I can step back and just do the directional stuff. But it takes us time to get off that hamster wheel before we can even do that.
Brilliant. Now, most MSPs could probably explain their teams like Forrest Gump did. It's a bag of licorice all sorts. You never know what you're going to get. You've got lots of different people. And we're going to talk in a minute about some of the selection criteria that we use for the Future Leaders Development Program to make sure you've got the right people in it. But at what stage in an MSP's size, length of business, number of people, things like, when do they need to start to think about, do you know what? I think I need a team behind me. Is there a revenue target? Is there a number of people target? In your experience, what are some of the catalysts when you go, do you know what? I'm just so busy. I need to get someone to help me with this. When do they need to start thinking about forming their SLT or their senior people?
Yeah, I'm not going to give a number of people, but what I think we should be thinking about is like when you've just got, let's say you've got 5 people, the communication lines are short.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think everybody is literally probably going to hear about that within seconds of me thinking about it. And everybody's like part of that team. It's really easy to communicate. It's really easy for people to understand where you're going and what you're doing and what their role then is, as long as you've got some roles and responsibilities. But it's easy for us to communicate. The bit where we can start to see, hold on, this isn't working, is I think of it like an elastic band. It's gone a bit baggy. You know when elastic band goes a bit baggy and it's like now I'm not getting any feedback because the elastic band's gone too baggy because I've stretched it too far. So I've got enough people that I can't control the communication, or I don't get any communication from people. They're too far away. So mistakes start happening because I'm not able to control it.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in the police, we used to say 1 and 8, okay, which is like 1 sergeant and 8, or 1 and 6.
Span of control, isn't it? It's what people.
It's can I communicate? Do they know what they're doing? And am I able to manage and keep that group tight? If I can't, then there's probably needs to be somebody in between that's going to be able to do that for me. Because especially as the business owner, I can't manage marketing and administration and operations and HR and all those things all by myself if I'm trying to just manage one person that does all those things, because I've not got the headspace for that. I can't strategically develop my business at that point. So I need to start putting people in once I get to that, what I call that baggy elastic band, which is where it's, actually I'm not in control.
Love it. Absolutely love that. So we identified that there was a need for our, I can have that 1 in 8 thing running around my head now. We identified that there was a need for below our clients for some support, which is why we put together this program, which is a monthly peer group basically for senior leaders. But we had some criteria, didn't we? Because the most important thing here is, so you've gone through this journey that Julie's just explained, and you're starting to lose the control of the conversation and the communication. and you need to now, someone needs to either step up, or I need to help somebody step up. And just because they're a great tech doesn't mean to say that they're going to be a great leader. And also, one of the things you can't do is you can't go, I like that person, come over here. Hey, I've got you a business coach. Bang, here we go. They're going to sort you out. It doesn't work like that. So we've identified this need for some support. The owner looks across his glittery technical desk with LED lights and fancy signage all over the place. Where does he or she start to go, they'd make a good candidate, they wouldn't, I'm going to ask them about this? What does the beginning process of finding, that's what we're talking about today, finding your future leaders start?
Yeah. I think every business owner wants a leadership team that cares as much as they do about the business. Okay. So capability aside, do they have with the tech piece or the whatever, they have the knowledge, they can learn, anybody can learn any of that stuff. Okay. But really what we want is somebody who understands our vision and cares as much as us. So they're responsible as much as us. That if I turned my back, or I was laid on a beach somewhere in Morocco or something, my vision would be implemented whilst I'm not there. And I can trust that person to do that. Even the phrase a safe pair of hands. And so that's not about doing what I tell you to do. So it's a little bit, go back to what I said before. Yeah. This is about somebody taking the reins and driving and stepping up. You and I both know a coach who talks about this, and I think is a brilliant thing, is that if you think of people in your business, like, are they helping you drive the business, right? Or are they a bit of a front seat passenger? Are they a backseat driver where they just tell you what they don't like, but they don't actually drive anything? They just moan all the time. Your front seat passenger is somebody who's actually, I'm not driving it, but I'd like to drive it, and I can help. I can maybe navigate for you or whatever it might be. Backseat one, sitting there telling you how you don't like it. Yeah. Or are they just in the boot as luggage? Yeah. And you're pulling them along.
Oh, Julie, I love your analogy. So we've now got a Sierra estate, and we're now picking it up with people.
Sierra.
Do you know what? Most
we'd have a senator. Since we'd have a little police analogy here, we'll have a senator.
Senator.
Do you remember them?
They weren't estates.
They need an estate. I just need a boot. But basically, if you think about people and cross it, no, why would you not actually talk about it? But one, we don't even want luggage in our business. We also don't want backseat passenger. You don't want a leader who is a backseat passenger, because there are the people that, although they're technically capable, they just blooming moan all the time about what they don't like. Okay, they are bringing you down. They don't help the business. Okay, so they're probably not a good future leader unless you can find out why they're moaning all the time and to change that. What you want is at very least the passenger or somebody who wants to drive, because that's when you start to see that their ability is to link what you're trying to do and go, I'm going to take that. I know what that means. I think this should be like this, or I want to help you do that, so that they don't need pushing. They don't need dragging. They are already trying to move you forward. They want to get in that car and have a drive. Yeah. And I think that if you want analogies, then you might as well think about it like that, because I bet if you're listening to this podcast right now, make a list of your people in your business and ask yourself the difficult question of, don't come back to me though when you do this, are they driving your business or helping you drive the business? And you could ask this of yourself, by the way, if you're a business owner. Are you driving the business, and are they helping you drive the business? Are they a front seat passenger? Are they helping to navigate whatever? Are they a backseat passenger and putting you out moaning and just making it harder? Or should you be dumping them out and get rid of that baggage? Okay. Because I bet you, if you think about that, you will know which ones are your future leaders, because you know that they're helping you drive the business. So they're the sort of people that get where you're trying to go. They're on board the bus with you. They want to be with you. Yeah. And they understand your vision, and they're like, oh, that's really exciting. And I feel like I want to take responsibility for that. But they can also start to see how that can happen. Now, they don't have to be amazing at everything, because that's what we need to teach. And that's why we have our Future Leaders program. But what we're looking for is somebody who shows those, and you should be looking for, is somebody who shows those traits of giving a damn and being like, oh, yeah. And not somebody who just literally goes, no, it's past my time now, because that's just somebody who's taking. So you want somebody who's going to be a win-win in your business.
And I love that. So you want someone who's sitting in the front seat, who wants to control everything that's going on. I do have a compelling need, and apologise for my childishness in this. Can we actually add a roof rack to this car? So people who are hanging on by dear life and they're just about to be sacked just because they're just really not that well. Stuart spent like many years creating all these wonderful frameworks, how we assess our clients and how they assess their businesses and their teams. And we've just wrapped it up in an analogy of a police car. So I can't wait for him to come back from holiday and we'll share him our new framework.
They're clinging to the bonnet at the front and you're trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, which is absolutely great. So we've now got brilliant, right? So we've now got a list of people, or a couple of people who want to share the front of the car.
Yeah.
Which is why we put the program together. We've got to test them out to see. They might say, yes, I'm interested in this, because they might either be fearful they're going to get sacked, or they might think, do you know what, I'm going to get a bucket load more money. Or so we now need to test it's a bit of an acid test here, isn't there? Just to demonstrate, do they have the values, the passion, the drive? Will they get into flow and things like that? So I guess the thing we're trying to do now is we're now going to test some people, and they're either going to rise to the top, or they're going to bob in the middle, or they're going to fall to the bottom, sort of thing. What does that process look like in terms of priority of skills, ethics, values, all that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I think number one, they've got to understand your vision. That's one. Do they understand it, and are they on board? Number two, as you said, their values. Do they have my values? Okay. You'll notice that this is not, can they do the job yet? Yeah. This is about behavioral stuff. This is about human things. Okay. Because somebody could do the work, but could drive you absolutely insane in your business. You need to do the human stuff first. Once they've done that, then going along that, I jest about the old baggage stuff, but that's about, can they come in an adult way and take responsibility? So you want to be able to see, they don't have to be doing it at every level, but you have to see that they've done that in their role. Are you pushing along in their role, or are they pushing the role along? So we want to be able to see, do they take responsibility at an adult level, that it's my stuff and I'm going to get it done and I'm going to push that, and maybe making change. So you want to see people that are coming up with ideas. So that would be the things that I think are the most important things. Do they want it? Yes. Yeah. Do they want it? There is no point in you trying to get them to do that, because if they don't want it, they are.
This has got to be them now wanting to drive. They want to have that driving lesson, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah. And they don't have to be able, so they might need, because the whole point about training people is that you want potential, right? And they still need confidence. They still need tools, and that might be soft skills. It might be a bit of communication. It might be how to deal with difficult people. It might be, what does it actually really mean to be a leader? Because maybe they've been watching you and thinking, ooh, what am I supposed to do? Because you're racing around like a headless chicken. So what does it mean to be a leader? And all of those things they can learn, but we've got to make sure that they have the desire to step up and to own something, really. And I think that's really all you need in terms of understanding.
So now we've found the potential future leaders. How do we actually grow them?
It's really important that we don't expect them to be perfect straight away, but we do need them to understand where they are, good old coaching, where they are and where they want to be, okay, or where we want them to be, but also where they want to be. So we need to start by, in some way, saying how mature are they as a leader at the moment? What are the traits that if we had to score them out of 10, what would be the ones where they're already an 8 and what are they already 4? And there's nothing wrong with needing development. That's okay, as long as you've got potential. So we use in the Future Leaders Program, we use the Leadership Maturity Score, which scores them on a number of different things about their communication style, their understanding of leadership, lots of different things. And so what we're doing there is saying, look, it doesn't matter where you are, but where are you? So that we help them to recognize where they are, and that we then can look at, okay, you need to work on various things to basically get to a level that we would say, that's green. If you were going for red, amber, green, that's green for go as a leader. Okay. What that means is that you identify these good parts and not so good parts, and then you work on those pieces so that they can fill in the gaps, essentially.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, that they are okay with not being perfect, because a lot of them think they need to be perfect. And that's about confidence, really.
Now, you've identified a leader. Do you have to have a role for that person, like finite agreed, while these person's going through the training? What comes first, the role or the person? Because
Ooh, there's a
if you
question.
if you develop a person and they become great, but you haven't got a role for them, then
Mm.
okay, that could be a bit of an awkward conversation. Or you could develop someone and they not make it, and then you're gonna have to step them back down to what they were doing before. What have you seen work in the past where there's a potential role in a year or 6 months
Yeah.
time or something like that? What's your view on that?
Yeah, I think if you don't develop people, that we said this at the very start, they're going to leave if they have a
Right.
desire. Okay, so sometimes you have to do things a little bit before maybe you're ready, or
Yeah.
and sometimes you have a need and they have to do it before they're ready slightly, and so there's both ways to look at it. But I think that, and we have some people on our Future Leaders program that the very first thing they said was, "But I don't have a team." That's why you're calling you a future leader as opposed
Yeah.
to a leader program, let's say. But the thing is, to be a leader, you don't need a direct report.
Yeah.
Okay, because what we're looking for is a behavioral trait. We're looking for a set of behaviors that wherever you are, whatever role you were doing in any business, someone would look at you and say, they're a driver.
Yeah.
Going back to our analogy. Yeah. So what we're doing is training behaviors and outlook and understanding. And so I believe that if you've got somebody in your business that you think, oh, I'm going to need them to do that, or I'd like them to be ready to do it, I have a role, but they're not ready yet, but I can see that potential, then even if they don't have anybody to manage, let's say, they can grow as a leader, because that's about how you show up. That's about, for every single person that you speak to, how are you being experienced,
Yeah.
let's say. And so if I experience you as a leader, then you're a leader. Yeah. If make me feel like I want to get on board with this, whether I be a client or a supplier or Bob sitting next to me type thing, if I feel more inspired, more clear, and more capable because of the way you've sat next to me and said something, anything, then you're a leader. Okay.
And
So
I
then
guess
we can add in, oh, here's your direct reports and do some one-to-ones and all of those things that come of the technical skills of being a manager, let's say. But as a leader, I think once you've got the behavioral traits, you can do it.
And I guess that once you've identified that you've got a leader that's worth investing in, and whatever training it is that you're going through with them to support them, you can, if there may not be an exact fit, absolute role that's a cookie cut to put them in right now, you can start off by maybe seconding them into a position or giving them a person to
Projects.
report to for projects, project
Yeah.
type of work, or a particular account or things like that, where those skills are all transferable around helping you not have to do the thinking and being the driver, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anywhere in your business that because you're the driver, if you're the owner of a business, a growing smaller business into a bigger business, there are many things that you're driving, many projects, many departments, if you want to call them that, many areas of your business that you're driving. It doesn't have to be a department because you haven't got a department yet. But if you've got a project or a problem or even a client that needs managing or needs something to happen that needs a driver, then there's opportunity for future leaders. And you were asking earlier on about testing. How do we do that? You can test that ability to drive or be part of something by giving them projects or by giving them a specific thing to do, an area, or even a secondment. Yeah, by testing that out and seeing what happens.
Love
So
that.
I don't think that they have to have a position. You have to grow people sometimes before you've got everything in place.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant, Julie. Golden nuggets all over the place, and a really simple kind of structure for helping us find those future leaders. What's your summary takeaways for everyone to get out of the car if they're listening to the podcast and get into the bus to help them find their future leaders?
I think they need a chauffeur. That's what they need, because they want to sit back.
Chauffeur,
They want
not
to sit
chauffeur,
in
a
the back
chauffeur.
seat, don't they, really, with a glass of champagne while everybody else does all the work. That's what you really
I'm
want.
learning new things about you every day.
Anyway, my top 3 things are, start looking at your business and you in your business and identifying, is this the right time? We talked about this baggy elastic band of communication. Is it starting to get awkward? Are things being missed? Can I control? So number 1, identify, is this the right time? Number 2, start looking for those people who can drive in your business. And You might even need to have conversations about, some people be like, oh, I would like to be that. And it's actually your backseat passenger. We need to see some behavioural change. So you can start to identify and maybe grow people to be ready, or even tell them that you're looking for drivers in the business. So that's next step. And then after that is making sure that the people you pick are definitely able to step up, but they don't need those. They don't need everything, but they need to be able to be a driver.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julie.
Them. Sorry, there's fourth one. Support them.
No, that was great. Really enjoyed that show. That was a really good structure and absolute key for helping you find those future leaders. So well done on bringing the program to life. And I'm sure we're going to hear more about our candidates as they grow and develop the next weeks and months ahead. Good stuff. Well done. Thanks again. Look forward to catching up with you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later. Bye now. Oh, but one last thing just before you shoot off. And if you're curious about how this episode links with the ability to scale your MSP to $1 million, or if you're already there, accelerate to 5, then we want to invite you to come and take the MSP Mastery Quiz. And in just 3 minutes, you're going to get a 360-degree scan of your business where you can identify the 1 or 2 tactics that can help you find more time, engage and align your people, and help generate more leads in your MSP. It's really simple. Just click on the link in the show notes. And if you have enjoyed this episode, we'd love to get some feedback from you by means of a rating and review on Spotify or iTunes or your podcast platform of choice. We really appreciate every single one of them. Now you can go and enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to catching up and connecting with you soon. All the best now.